inspirational, educational, and you won't want to miss it. It's everything agriculture. Hey, this man Easy, inviting you to tune in. It's all about everything agriculture with the man Banky and Company alongside Yason Tafari. It's your weekly educational show. And tune in. It's inspirational, educational, and you won't want to miss it. It's everything agriculture. Hey, this man Easy, inviting you to tune in. It's all about everything agriculture with the man Banky and Company alongside Yason Tafari. It's your weekly educational show. And tune in. It's inspirational, educational, and you won't want to miss it. It's everything agriculture. Hey, this man Easy, inviting you to tune in. It's all
Yes, greetings and welcome to the Everything Agriculture Show. I'm your host Banky and my co-host Yasan Tafari. Yasan, you hearing me?
Loud and clear.
All right. And good evening. It's another Friday evening. So welcome to the Everything Agriculture Show. I'm your host Banky. As I said earlier, if you're a first-time listener. And the Everything Agriculture Show is an educational show where we talk about and everything when it comes to agricultural sector and within the community. Let me say good evening to the folks in the Twin Federation of Oli and Lyamega, which is the ancestral name, so which is St. Christopher and Nevis. So good evening to the folks in the neighboring islands, Saba and Statia, along with the others, the U.S. Virgin Islands, the BVI, also the folks over in Guadeloupe, Montserrat, Antigua and Barbuda, also the folks in the Windward Island. Greatly appreciate you guys tuning in, and the folks also in the diaspora, North America, from the Florida Keys right up to Maine, bringing Boston, New York, Chicago, Atlanta, Texas. Appreciate you guys tuning in on all the states that I didn't call. Also the folks over in Europe, appreciate you guys tuning in different time zone in England, and the folks over in Asia and Africa. Great appreciate you guys tuning in. This evening we will have a lot to talk about when it comes to the agricultural sector, cannabis, general agriculture. We just came out of the the music festival about 2 weeks ago, and then this weekend gone there was the Nevis Mango Fest. So there's a lot to talk about and stuff like that. So Yasan, how are you doing?
I am giving thanks and praises. You know, it's always a pleasure to be here on another edition of Everything Agriculture, a subject that is very, very, very dear to my heart, and would always make it my business to learn more about what's going on because it is always a learning experience as the field demonstrates. Any farmer would tell you that, you know, there's always something new to learn, some new technique, some new skill, something to upskill yourself, whether mentally or physically. Every farmer might have some little technique or some little thing that he does that some other farmer may not do, and farmers are always very open to share. That's one of the things that I love about that field as well, you know. Most and many are always willing to share whatever little technique or skills that they are utilizing. It is up to you now if you want to make the adjustment and, you know, or you want to continue doing, you know, whatever you're doing. So I always, you know, avail myself for any opportunity to, you know, be in a position to speak to and with anything that has anything to do with agriculture. So people, you know, Oli, Amiga, those who are locked in wherever you are around the world, it's always a pleasure to have you with us. Just remember to log in on the YouTube platform, Real Entertainment Network on YouTube. We're seeking to get most and many of our people on that platform. As you know, you would know that Facebook is seeking to, you know, drop the videos after 30 days. And so if you want to really be able to go back and listen to specific editions of Everything Agriculture and or the topics and or any other programs that are aired on Real Entertainment Network, we're suggesting that you run on over to the YouTube channel, subscribe, like, and share it. We are also streaming live on Twitch TV and also on Facebook. And so, we welcome one and all. We want to welcome all of those who usually give their comments, make their comments on the Facebook wall. We do definitely always try to engage with those comments, and all those who seek to call in on the number 1-869-662-7196. That's the number to call in if you want to be a part of this edition of Everything Agriculture. And we welcome the calls, we welcome the messages, and we welcome all of you who listen. So if you log on for the first time, one of the first things you need to do right now is just share or tag some friend or friends into this programming. So Banky, welcome, and let's get into the things that we are going to discuss or engage our listeners with this evening. Your mic is on mute still, Banky. Your mic is on mute.
Yeah, sorry about that. Well, we'll get an overview of the music festival that just passed, and also the Mango Festival. Those like back to back. So, and then we can speak about some other stuff. But the music festival, I don't think I can talk much on that in a sense, because I don't really partake, because I've realized, for instance, growing up to the present time, we have not even enforced a law when it comes to entering clubs, going out to parties. So as a 12-year-old or 13-year-old, you can be seen in the same function as adults, and I'm not the type of person who will partake in stuff like that, because I have children the same way. So I can't be out going out to a club or dance or whatever, and my children can be in the same dance with me, and that don't make no sense. So I'm calling out for the age of consent to go up to 18. I'm asking for the same thing: 18 to party, 21 or 23 to drink, or 25, because we really got to enforce alcohol law and an entry when you're going to even when you look at Juve Manning, really and truly, and the last lap and stuff like that, those are really adult event, you know.
One second.
Yes.
I don't want you to get away without we adding this into the conversation, because you spoke to the age for those things, but specifically now, cannabis. Do you seek to put cannabis into that category where it should be up until what age would you give for that one?
Well, when it comes to cannabis, I the same they all put with alcohol, because scientifically, the part of the brain when it comes to making decision in a sense, the prefrontal cortex, and develop between age 25, 22 to 25. So if that is the case, because when you see most people make decisions is between that age group, that is really where you should really be, I guess. Because there's some places, so I'll put it in a sense between, that's why I said between 18 and 25. That thing that when it comes to drinking, some places 21, some is 23, some also between 23, even 21 still. You know what I mean? So even 23, then you should realize that is when you can make proper decision. Because most people make a lot of decision when the teenagers are 20, before they reach 25. That's just the reality about it. And we know, yes.
You could go ahead. I just wanted to make sure that we interject that, because I know some people might
it's
think
everything. It's just everything.
Over that one. So I just wanted you to put that in also
Of
in
course.
the inclusion of the things that you were speaking about. So now you could go ahead into the conversation that you were having now in terms of.
So the Mango Fest really, the music festival. You have Cartel, you have Spice, you have Shen. I don't know these people, eh? Shensia, and these are really explicit singers and dancers, and have their type of acts they're gonna put on the stage. And when you have, cause I personally speak to people who was running bars and serving alcohol, and you have young people come there ask for alcohol, and he still asks them, well, how old are you? Because he says young people, but they still serve them. Everybody is different. and these are stuff and which they'll be in there smoking the same way. So if you're in there drinking it, and then the high command telling you can come in with 5 spliff, but then they not check ID. It's amazing. 'Cause I know people who come down and walk with their 14-year-old children, boys and girls, from St. Kitts, from Navies, from overseas, with no ID. I mean, we're dredging. And we're
Banky,
just brilliant and we're so this. Yes.
I am glad that we are engaging on this conversation because it is something that I would have highlighted and discussed a long time ago, especially when we deal with the cannabis topic, because that is
Yes.
something that would have had to be a part of their plan. Because remember, I think they said in the legislation, I think it would have been 18 and older would have been able to partake. Now, if you're going to have legal dispensaries and or um, 420 lounges that allows for the sale of cannabis, then that would be something that would have to be done. And in this case, at this present moment, we don't have that sort of enforcement taking place. Now, I brought that argument out because in relation to how they have been treating cannabis in relation to other quote unquote drugs, well, they're drugs too, that are deemed legal. So, in the sense of alcohol and tobacco, which CARICOM and most of the other um, governing bodies in the world have agreed that cannabis should be treated in the same manner in terms of legislations and so on. Treat up similarly to how they free up. You have a license to sell it or a license to use it in whatever shape or form and so on. Um, but you find on St. Kitts and Nevis, for example, in America, for example, a youth underage can just go in a shop and buy a lighter, not even a lighter, because you
Of
have to
course.
be able
Yes.
to show a
Even a
certain ID.
beer. Beer.
But me ain't got to be,
Yes.
me ain't got to alcohol. I'm talking as simple
Yes.
as a lighter. What one may think, well,
Yes.
how many you wouldn't sell an underage child a lighter? You can't get a lighter in America without an ID. So, and some of these things are in the stores. They have to be placed in out of reach of um, the hands of
Behind the
children.
cashier.
Counter where, like, especially things like wrapper and maybe they sell brown and tobacco and cigarettes and so on. You have to be able to have an ID. So to the alcohol side of it as well, if you want to buy a beer, if you want to buy a stout, you want to buy liquor, you go to the liquor store, you have to have an ID. And so that was something that I questioned in relation to how they're going to enforce or implement um, the cannabis aspect if this is not already in place. Because you have to have this in place in order to ensure that otherwise it is going to seem discriminatory again that you're just going to be seeking to get an ID for when you're going to get cannabis, but then cigarette, cigar, and all the other alcohol and all the other things that are considered drugs and are drugs too, but are legal, are decriminalized the same way that you are legalizing and decriminalizing cannabis. People are given the free to sort of, because I remember as a teacher, I used to wonder about the same thing because you would hear these things saying children who go to the shops in downtown, and especially, well, I don't want to finger out any group of people or any group of sellers, but it used to be mainly foreign based um, in businesses that would not care necessarily that they sell underage children these things. They're making the money. So they come and they want the brown or they want the lighter, they want the wrapper, they want the whatever, maybe even alcohol and all. Like, and it was sold because you don't need to show an ID to get these things. And so this topic, yes, is I think a timely topic, and I think it is something that should seriously be addressed, not just for Music Fest, but Banky, I guess the flip of it is,
Yes, son.
wait,
Yes, son.
let me not excuse, no excuse. Let's go ahead.
You have our parliamentarians, our teachers, the people in society who we hold at the highest esteem in the VIP,
Mm-hmm.
a party with underage people. You keep telling me, hear me say, we have a set of pedophile people among us, Because how can you not have these things in place? You see what I mean? When the high commander says you can walk, everybody entitled to walk with 5 spliff. Well,
Man,
that include
Banky,
anybody underage.
I don't believe they know that. I don't believe they know that they have underage
You know
children
what?
in there. I don't
We're
believe they know
talking
that.
about what you're talking about. We're just not making excuse for people. If you do not have an age group when it come to a limit, when it come to entering a place, you can't. You welcome anybody when they have these tropics and all these 5-in-1 and all these different parties. Well, who inside there? Are school
Adults,
children
adults,
and
is
school
expected.
children too. And school children. That is the reality. Okay, didn't a young well, it was my cousin when they had this incident in one of the club at his age. The young cricketer Wallace Philo.
Yes, yes.
When who was the police a police had shoot him or something? Is a police
I
officer?
So I think, yeah, my
Yes,
recollection. So
yes,
I
yeah,
think that was the
exactly. And the age he was at the time 14, 15, 16. You see what I mean? We got to
so,
comment on these things,
but no
Medjin.
lessons learned as a result of that.
No,
That we really need to enforce these things and put these things in place, and it would help a lot in a lot of different things. It's because some of these young guys are allowed to feel as if they are men, and
nah.
also the
The
younger
problem is, yes, son. The problem
women.
is the system. There is not. It's just like we just gonna see better like the other day. I don't. We don't have a. I think we just probably have one when it comes to drinking and driving, and just start get breathalyzer and all these different things and whatever and one ton of things and things to put on tint and to test your vehicle. I don't tell one the police officer visit, Those things don't hold water, especially those things for the. But let me stay focused on the music festival and then this thing we can add. That's the next time. This thing when it come to partying. I don't take part. That's why I don't really go places. I'm not going to go with no young people to mix up with them. You understand? You played puppy, fleas gone. You end up with fleas the same way. You understand? These are the realities. So how can these things be happening? Why you don't have IDs and your ID have an under age 21 or under age 25 or whatever it is? You got to have IDs, national IDs, apart from the voters ID. You have a regular, should we get a regular ID? Can anybody have a license, social security card or whatever? But you just have to get a regular license, a government ID, ID card. Those are things we should be issuing. Me can't tell people how to do the work in your son, because we tend to say we love to say how smart we are, but these are simple things I think should be moving forward.
Well, you're not necessarily telling people how to do their work, but as a citizen, as a native, as we would say, we have the right to be able to give suggestions and opinions when necessary. And now, in your case, as you are seeking to present yourself as an independent candidate, this can be one of the things that you put on your agenda to campaign for and present on your manifesto that if elected, this is one of the things that I would ensure that will happen, that we will definitely have IDs, national IDs. And I strongly agree and endorse that to the fullest, not just because of the cannabis and not just because of the alcohol and so on, but it is very, very important for all other aspects of seeking to keep that line between adults and children so that quote unquote they know their place or places, and thus we can have a more structured society where you could have
Plus,
adult-oriented
in
events.
cases
Yes.
in, in cases like these, I mean, the parents have a big part to blame, because you can't have your 14 and 15 and then parents taking. So you see a parents taking the adult child, the 14-year-old child and 15-year-old child to a show with spice, and then there's an act with sheet and people carrying up men on stage and some real sexual thing going on. I mean, I don't know how some parents comfortable with stuff like this with their underage children and party with them and thinking these things are okay, and they hearing explicit things and one ton of things and whatever and whatever. And I mean, it's crazy. So for that part, everybody praise up the music festival. That part where, and if adults party with adults, that's fine. But where there is no boundaries, I can't entertain that. So for me to grade it, I grade it as 0, fail. Big fail. That's how me I put it in a tent like that, because I can't say because I had 20,000 people. Me in a business about that part there. Me in a business about that. Me expect that. The part I don't expect is a society will be entertaining young people be partying. Like I have my 14-year-old upstairs to send her to the music festival with Spice and them and me home or whatever, and then I want to come, then I want to discipline her. When I just send her to expose herself to all kind of negativity, and then people in the smoking, underage people drinking, partying, whatever. I can't do that. You see? So these are the kind of things, and then you'll be amazed the people and those are the people who you look, somebody without mind frame. But move on from that. Mango Festival, last weekend, it started the 4th to the 6th, where they had the opening. Then they had this Friday, which was the fun day when it come to the tug of war, mango stoning, mango eating competition, the mixologist competition and stuff like that. Right there, very very good. So I must give kudos to the tourism authority for the well promoted Fian, along with the whole crew, Julie Cavell, and all the others, and for making sure. I mean, this is something they've been working on for a while. So when it comes to the promotion, it's well out. And big up the music by Zimba, was at that place also, and the AOs at Ubrenta, my cousin who had the place. I mean, nice location, small space, but everything was well organized, and I like this. It was a beautiful setting when it come to how everything is set, and through the garden and the hedges, them could separate. You have a little area where this will be, and then so I like that kind of vibes and stuff like. So that was really cool, and I think all those who went there and those who didn't make it really missed a good opportunity at that area. I mean, I had to display the varieties of mangoes and explain a demonstration along with those who attend, and so they get mangoes to eat and stuff like that. So that went well as usual. Remember, it's a product, and once I'm out to serve the general public, I take my work very seriously and professional. So anyone who have an interaction with me will get a great experience, because that's what it's all about. Because some will come, most who come love mango, but those come is an event. They might not want the mango to eat, but at the same time, some don't want the mango in the tea. But then you can encourage them, let them know this one would not have much fiber, and then they'll be encouraged, and then this is nice and stuff like that. So it was a beautiful thing. I always love meeting other people in those times. You don't really know who you're gonna meet. I think around that same time I met the young lady who I know now is a TV personality who in Philadelphia on Fox News. We are free and tell me, Banky, take care of my friend for me and stuff like that, and make sure she all right. And that is when me and the young lady met, and just like anybody else, I'll show a good time, have some fun with some mangoes, and then she keep coming back, and then she come back this Sunday, and I mean, we bonded really well, just like anybody else, not knowing exactly who the lady really was, but knowing, I mean, you're somebody who is fun and enjoy eating mangoes at the same time and have that interest in the island. But, so everything went well. Then move on to the Sunday, which is the main event, where it will get more even crazier. Where, I mean, I don't tell somebody that event, by just at the bar crawl and the event that Friday. For the crowd that I see, I don't well, the Sunday going to be crazy. I met at least 5,000 people, which generally, if the ticket sale is over 4,000, you have some who still come in here and there and whatever. So you can easily over 5,000 people from my estimation. and stuff like that. So it shows that the event have really grown very, very, very big. And the tourism department and the ministry, they had really put in their work, and it's always room for improvement and tweaking here and there. So you must give kudos to them for that. Yes, from since yesterday and up till now, my phone keep going off because it seemed like the young lady who I spent some time with, having fun sharing the mangoes, who keep coming back and stuff like that. On her show yesterday morning, really mentioned my name and show a video. And it's a lot more video because she's been there for a while and having fun with her phone, and me and her eating videos. And with the one that you see, I was explaining the Emmy Pali mango, and which is one of the more high priced mango in the Federation that most people more want to eat and stuff like that. But at the same time, there's still a lot of different varieties that have a lot of different flavors. But this one is the most highly favorite and at this get a higher cost and stuff like that. So she loved the flavor also and stuff like that. So it was a beautiful. So Navy seemed to get a big promotion on Fox News along with myself, which she big up my business and my name. And since then, my phone still, I mean, my battery run down because I keep getting so much video, so much calls, so much text, and I mean, I don't even know. Some of them have to ask who is this and all and stuff like that. So I appreciate that. I mean, she didn't really have to go out all the way, but it just show. I mean, and the other day, Tuesday was talking about how we be professional in what we do, even though we may come here and challenge and question certain things that is wrong within the any ministry. Is nothing personal. Once we are called to the occasion, we represent because we're ambassadors to our country and everything we do, and that is how it's supposed to be. And this is a testimony to show how this lady felt in my presence and how I treated her and stuff like that. And she felt comfortable going back and, you know, with the experience that she had been in my presence, which other people do the same thing because he had other bloggers that I met from Jamaica and in the UK. And so I would expect the same thing. I mean, it's not like I treat any difference than I treat anyone that come in front of my table, you know, and I'm sure everyone will say the same thing because I did a lot of different interviews with different people because it's all about selling the product. It's an experience. So it's not about me, it's about Nevis because I'm representing Nevis. You see what I mean? And everybody who come there is a tourist. When you come over from St. Kitts, I come in, you're local tourist the same. So I can't, or because you're local, I'm not going to treat you any different. I don't function like that. You treat everybody the same on an equal part, and that's yes, and that's what they want to want. So it seemed like the whole island and the federation is very happy to see that I'm surprised that my name was called, and a lot of people reach out to me to show a lot of respect and let me know. I mean, they didn't expect anything different because they know how I stay and stuff like that. So that was expected, and it seemed it's about time the government and those in place made me an ambassador to whether it's an agriculture mango festival or whatever. And because I mean, I ain't got nothing else to prove. The environment it's there, and this is something like the review I get every year. They know, I mean, the standard I kept and how I keep putting it and representing the island and stuff like that. So I'm open to any discussion professionally, and that's the type of person I am. But that was the Mango Festival. Late then we have well yesterday. I mean, I was there and it was a town hall meeting in Gingerland, down Hanley's Road, and it seemed like there's a question going on about Indian Castle that was asked by Bian to the Minister of Agriculture. So I'm gonna find that clip, play that clip, and then play the answer, and so you can hear what answer he gave and stuff like that. Let me find that clip where you can play the question first, and then I'll give the answer afterwards. So let me see if I can get that coming up shortly, your son.
Quite interesting.
You mentioned Indian Castle Farm project. My understanding is that that project started off being successful, but since Mr. King left, that farm would have produced very little, or for the past 2 open days, it has not been producing any crops. Can you give us some numbers about how many crops are being produced down there, and if that information is accurate.
Okay. That was the question posed to the minister at the town hall meeting held yesterday around 7 o'clock. So this is the minister response. And then
to deal with that. You spoke about the Indian Castle Farm, which I spoke about as well, and you said your information suggested that production had reduced there. Your information is wrong. Production is continuing there at the Indian Castle Farm, and since that farm was instituted, we have had production and we've had produce from that farm at every agricultural exhibition. You spoke about the hard times playing field as well.
That was the part of Indian Castle and the agricultural open day, where the minister said the production is ongoing, and every open day you have production coming out of Indian Castle. I challenged the minister and asked him when last he been down to Indian Castle. Can I guarantee you the last time he been down there was the last time they have the Mango Festival. And that was on a Friday when I saw him there. At the same time, along with the manager of Indian Castle. There have not been one soursop been at the agricultural open day since I've left December 2023. The agricultural open day there was 2023, where I grew some different varieties of the watermelons, orange, yellow, red, and stuff like that, to showcase a different variety. Prior to that, the year before, I grew watermelon over 10,000 pounds, which I took over 9,000 pounds at agriculture. The rest, I mean, people come to the farm, they get some, which is in the report, along with over 500 bags of sorrel, squash, winter squash, cassavas, along with other stuff, bananas and stuff like that. There have been nothing that, you see, the good thing about what the minister don't understand, and he been in the industry for long enough, everything that is come out of each estate for agricultural open day, or anytime you harvest, it is weighed and recorded. So I would like him to bring back the information that was weighed, which crop that was grown, how much the crop weighed, and who grew the crop, which part of Indian Castle in which plot. Because I do, and the sad thing about it, your son, Mr. Jeffers Zook, sitting down right in the front seat, I'm made to understand, and laying down with all the vomit and feces on the ground, where the minister talking all the doo-doo. You see what I mean? And he can't even open up his mouth. And he don't go down there every week, and he know the places in the state. All the avocado trees are died.
But Banky, like I am seeing here in the comment section, someone is saying that the question wasn't answered, and I am in agreement with that as well, because the person asked specifically for the numbers and the figures and so on. So to come and tell me that production has been going on, that doesn't answer the question, because you ought to be able to tell me, like you are saying, like you are suggesting, how much pound,
yes,
which crop,
yes,
what it is.
You can't answer
that
it.
That is what the person was asking. But that is what was being asked, to give some statistics and figures. So that was what I got from the question. So in terms of the answer that was given, it did not answer the question that was asked.
No, he answered the question by speaking what I used to do. That's how he answered it. That every agriculture open, he put it over when I was there. So he gave an impression that is still going on. You see? He's just generalizing it. It's not like, oh, well, this agriculture open day. No, he just put it like that. So he figure, well, school children still going there to having their assignments, and nobody visiting the project. Not even he goes down there. And that's why I keep asking the premier to take away that ministry from the minister and give it to anybody else. He himself need to hold on it, because the minister can't continue. Hold on, and then there was also, I think, on the Wednesday here, the premier himself speaking about the poultry, where they're gonna get in contact with the Taiwan along and stuff like that to get a prefab, maybe I guess a steel structure and stuff like that. I guess Mr. Brand is also part of the team, and getting it from Canada or someplace like that? Yes, son. The issue I have, right, when it comes to Nevis and with the federal government, somehow the federal government, the prime minister, over the years, they don't come to Nevis. Nevis is not respected. And I analyze, it doesn't matter who prime minister is in power. It seems that the only interest is staying in St. Kitts and we is up here by ourselves, and because we have our own we have a government, but the state we still have a prime minister. So we have both. You see, that's the thing about it. So he still have a say to make sure he come and sit and speak, so the people can in Nevis can speak to him and his cabinet. That is just the reality. But that respect is never given to us. You see, why we have to go to Taiwan every minute? Go and when we have the prime minister down there take up we money out of National Bank, out of we CBI, and they give to our kind of people who don't look like us, hundreds of millions of dollars, but the Navy is part of it. Have to go and take loan and borrow money from all these things. The same thing with the geothermal. All of a sudden now they have an interest. Single is gonna drill geothermal, you know, but now they take Navy's geothermal. Me no want to hear that. What we need to know how much what the equation is before you take anything. As you have to what we know the equation. Me not hear nobody and that part and Navy's part saying, well, the ratio gonna be since the Navy's one, we gonna get Navy's gonna get 90 and Single gonna get 10%. Since they're gonna put in some money, but yeah, and the week nothing is being said. So that is why we don't want to hear anything about geothermal. But what I don't want, we're not supposed to be borrowing the money from nobody for this thing because we have money with CBI. We have money in National Bank. We have money in all these banks, but yet Navy's part have to go and find all kind of loans and borrow this, borrow that. And the federal to take up money here and there and do all kind of something. I don't like that. I ain't second that. Those things going to have to change. You know what I'm saying? The things got to change. It's just like all of a sudden now they went and get some, man, the sharing of the CBI of the whatever. I mean, what the big deal is, the Constitution and put things in place. Why grown people just so greedy when it come to dealing with their own people, don't want to be honest. We are dealing like we are enemies. We're not dealing like we are one family. These are enemies going on here. Yeah, your mic, check your mic.
Sorry, yeah, I was saying, Banky, these are things that we still, I guess, have to, in some cases, bring to the fore because, okay, you are stepping out into the, well, the political arena, so to speak, for the first time. You're going to be pulling from a population of a younger electorate who, in a lot of cases, have not been paying attention to a lot of these things and have a true understanding or overstanding, as we would say within Rastafari, as to how these things got to where they are. But just have to deal with the isness of things, the way things are. So to clear up a little bit, right? Now, St. Kitts and Nevis would have had some what is considered constitutional sharing arrangement when it comes to taxable things, the things that's under what is considered the taxable things. They had an arrangement. I don't remember if it was 80-20 or if it was 76-20 something. I don't remember what the exact figure was, but there was, or let me not say was, because constitutionally, that's what it should be. So there is a constitution that is supposed to be the highest law of the land that was being discriminated, discriminated in the cannabis scenario that Sankofa had to highlight. And in this case, is totally being disrespected by a sitting government. So we had what was considered a taxable, or supposed to have, a taxable arrangement between St. Kitts and Nevis so that when the taxes are paid, the taxes were supposed to be pooled, so to speak, and calculated, and a certain percentage was supposed to go to the federal government, and a certain percentage was supposed to go to the Nevis Island government. This sitting government on Nevis opted to dismantle that. They just totally decide they are not going to do that. We are going to collect whatever money we collect on Nevis, and whatever you collect on St. Kitts, you collect on St. Kitts. That was done. A similar situation was done in relation to the VAT arrangements. So you would have had the VAT, that is supposed to be a federal sharing agreement. That also was dismantled by this sitting government. And then from this government, we heard an argument for fair share. Now, the fair share argument, you might unmute, Banky. You might unmute. The fair share argument was and is only specific to the citizenship by investment money. And a lot of people did not understand that. And that was something that I was pointing out all along. This argument about fair share was riled up to prey on the emotions of the people because they knew that Nevisians would have been pushing the argument for secession at some point, and saying that they were not necessarily being fairly treated by the federal government and so on. So it was, at that point, a very nice argument to be pushed at that point. But we could see, based on the end result, no, because here is it, that since earlier on in about March or so, I think I would have heard the Prime Minister would have said that whatever investigation or consultations they had in relation to the fair share agreement, that they would have gotten back the documents from the World Bank and they would have presented it to the Premier, who was agitating and pushing the fair share agenda. And we are now in what, July? And
yeah, but Yason,
yes.
but that situation there, when you have all this VAT agreement and it's done and all this was said by law constitutionally, well, they breaking the law when they say that they ain't want this and they ain't want that no more.
So that is a question that I've asked. So hold on. I'm glad you bring us back to that point, because that is one of the questions I have asked. And a lot of these legal minds that we have around us and all who are in politics and so on may really get any response from them. But from what I see and from what I understand, if this is constitutional, if you're telling me that our constitution is the highest law of the land, and the constitution said that you must share the taxes.
Unless did they make amendment? But did they make amendments then?
Not as far as I know. It was just done that the government decided that this is what they're gonna do, and this is what they did.
And everybody agree. And everybody agree on that. No, so nobody decide they're gonna challenge it and just leave it alone. That's a verbal agreement. So both sides breaking the law then.
Right, it's like a law broken, but the eyes turned to it.
No, it's not like it's not like it's either it was a crime committed. So if a crime is committed, so it's not a there's attorney general, there's attorney general, there's a DPP, and if a crime has been committed amongst the citizens, robbing them short of their earnings, where they could have been getting more. Because I mean, these are common sense things, I'm the kind of person who don't have time to run around the bush and figure out parables. I have to get to the point. So kindergarten people come on. You see me 5 years before you're just reasoning. Yeah, well, Dad, how come the fly I got by the light? But the problem is, they like the light. Point taken. You see how smart you be? Exactly, they like the light. They're attracted to the light. That's what I deal with. Simple thing. Me never time to run around to play games. Me is a different type of person. So all them who like to play games, me and them never say eye to eye. Because I'm in a business about that. Nobody will can me. Can you can me, you and can me youth and them too. And then can me youth and them youth. You never stop canning. Can you teach youth them to can everybody else? Then I go work. You see what I mean? They know exactly what they're doing, my virgin. We gotta get out of this mind frame. You know what I'm saying? The resources belongs to the citizens. The resources are ours. And we are put people there to manage it. And if you're gonna abuse it and think it's yours and you become comfortable, well, you have to be accountable for these things. Just like Indian caste, you take up taxpayers' money to spend millions, and then now, remember, this is in the third quarter now, you know. Remember, the minister say you're going to start the first quarter, the second phase in this first quarter. This is a third quarter now. Which means I know that the minister now gonna do the second phase. So he just need to tell the people, Lord, I make a big mistake and I apologize. Because the people at Indian Castle, I know they're calling the deputy directors and the directors and tell them how displeased they be about Indian Castle. But a lot of people in Halizo don't even avoid the minister. The minister saw me twice at the Mango Festival and he did not even came by the displays. Remember, he in charge of agriculture, you know. And I got the prettiest display pan 4 table. And he can hug who he want to hug. And he walk off and go along, not even say, well, Banky, how you doing? Everything is all right. And beautiful display. I love the mangoes and the jackfruit. And where you get not a thing. He just walk off and wind off at me and go around and avoid me. I'm telling you, you understand? Remember, you know, I'm very observant, you know. So I watching everything will go on in the park, you know.
Okay,
so when he come,
Banky,
I mean, me and Devon spoke. Devon came, yeah.
Yeah, here's what I'm gonna ask, you know, because you at this point is in that position that you're going to need this. How do you see yourself convincing the majority of, especially the people who are the group or the population more likely to follow you, to begin to see the need to hold the elected officials accountable, to see the system from the perspective that you are seeing it? Because from my vantage point, there's a lot that needs to be done in terms of that regards, and I think that is the area that we really need to be focused on, because I keep saying that at the end of the day, you know, these politicians, figures, whoever they, you know, whatever people you want to call them,
Yeah, son, that is simple thing, you know. For the last 5 years, don't even talk about the Mango Fest. I may hold it down with the displays. Nearly 9 years. Indian Castle start, all the budget, anything agriculture having, even the government having, whether it's and me pitch and me face them I use. So where them I use me face for? And me face them I use them in a budget. You understand? They might market, agriculture open, whatever it is. And me face the Mango Festival and me face pan top there. Always. So whether you use them, if I'm not of any good for the government, because this is a hard government to deal with, you know, remember that, you know, they're not easy, you know. Remember that. You know how they be. You understand? So if they're using my face, it means they understand my professionalism and they don't have an issue with me in a sense, whatever it is. All the different ministries that I work along with. So that alone show the credibility of myself and the standard. There are those who say Indian Castle is a waste of time. I've proven myself over and over. You understand? If you want to deal with those who talking, fine.
Hold on, Banky, hold on.
Yes.
I was not talking about convincing them in terms of your credibility, you know. Here's what I am talking about. Here's what I'm talking about. You see where we are? Okay, like you were saying, like these government officials are working for us, getting to realize that we are the government and we are the ones who are really hiring these people, and these people work on behalf of us and should be consulting with us, and we should be holding them accountable to come and report to us, allowing them to play the game of reverse psychology and making us feel like they are the bosses. No, me and you.
That's what I'm saying.
What I'm saying is, how are you going to get to convince these people who you're going to need, you know, because it's this kind of people you're going to need to change that kind of mindset.
Well,
Because if we
well,
don't
that
have
is
that
the whole
generation,
point. So yeah.
if
So what I'm
we hold on,
saying, the reason why I said all these things.
if we ain't got a generation, there are people, this game, what the man playing is going to continue, because as far as the man concerned, is a game, and they know what to do in the last year or two to do the whatever and do the whatever strategy they make and whatever to make you feel like you should give them an opportunity to go back in there again for 5 years. Because it's the
But this
only
thing don't
job.
work. This thing don't work all the time. This thing don't work all the time. I'm the kind of person I know these things. Things can work for 20 years, but that doesn't make it work for the 21st year or the 22nd year. I understand how things go. I overs these things. So when you think you're along with all the time, you're comfortable, and I mean, that's not how life is. There comes a time you can't fool people forever, my virgin. So those are things. I understand how the universe works and how everything's already in alignment. I know these things, so I don't fret about them things. That's why. So if people see me, people interact with me every day, and they know my start, my quality, and stuff like that, they know I'm the representative. I'm It's accountability. That's the standard gonna be set. That's the whole point I'm talking about. Because the resources belongs for the people. It's not the same all what was going on before. It don't work like that. You see what I mean? Those who are there after they've lost themselves and acting like no, them are the savior. So everybody must bow to them. No, you are the slave. We are the shepherd. You're working for us. But they reverse it. No, I serving the people. You see, I serving the people at the Mango Festival. I'm serving them because it's the people. It's all about the people. It's not about me. It's the people that come there to have a product and to enjoy themselves. And then when they leave, they're supposed to be happy and smiling and say, well, yes, I had a good time. And that's what it's all about. I take on the responsibility for the people to deal with Indian Castle. It was done. Money well spent, everything right there. The people benefited, right? It's the same thing. You let your works be seen, my virgin. That's what it's all about. Let your works be seen. And that's what it's all about. Not talking, not being held accountable. Look at Indian Castle messing up and all this different stuff, and nobody want to held accountable on all these things. You see what I mean? These things are not right. So I don't understand how people gonna be getting raise and increments when they're failing. Right now, you know who getting all the blame for Indian Castle? Anything? Woodies. I was told the manager trying all the blame on Woodies. Anybody up for Indian Castle asks Woodies. Woodies, he's the manager now. The blame gone upon Woodies. Don't move Woodies. Woodies is not no foreman. When he was the foreman, he's not no foreman. He have no position. There's no communication when it comes to the workers at Indian Castle. The minister don't go Indian Castle. He not go Indian Castle. He live on his road. He walk up the road. He don't walk down the road. He not going to Indian Castle. And he know down there is in a mess. His best friend is the manager, so he know the state down there. But he covering up for his best friend. Because he handpicked his best friend, put him down there. Because the manager only answer to the minister. He don't answer to the director, nor the PS, nor the deputy, nor nobody else. But the minister. So that's why I hold in the premier accountable for Indian Castle and everything that goes on within the agricultural sector. Because he is the commander-in-chief and he allowing these things. And Zook is the next one to have to sit aside and hear the minister lie and mashing up Indian Castle, which was he wanted, and everything just falling apart. You're just paying a staff for doing nothing.
You see how we say that, at the end of the day, it's just because of the development of the country that is our true end goal and true desire why we, quote unquote, as we would say as teachers, mark so hard, right? Here's what we're gonna do, right? Our consultation company, right? Our consultation company is going to put our project together and we're going to present it and they're going to contract us to do that which
you're sleeping in a la land.
No, we're gonna do it.
You
Banky.
Just see the minister tell a big lie just yesterday. Say Indian Castle is well and everything is wonderful and all this. You see the man in a la land, the man Alzheimer's or dementia or something, whatever you want to call it. How can you just sit in front of people, listen all overseas, and you're lying to your teeth in your own village, the farm behind his back, because the farm is behind his back, just down the road. If you trust to the farm in his own village, falling apart under his command, and he lied to the people. What a
Here's
man,
what I'm saying. You have done it before, You have done it before, right? You do the job, and whoever needs to take the glory, they take the glory for it. What we're gonna do, we're doing it not because of them. We know that they're gonna take the glory. We ain't worried about that. We just gonna take on the work because we know it needs to be done.
You see, you don't know the minister, so your problem. You see, you don't know the minister. So I've got like some Jesus that will come down and some savior. Well, you're not no savior, because you don't understand the minister. You understand how you not get. That's your problem. You see?
Okay, give me a chance to have that discussion. I ain't gonna have you in the meeting with me then. I'll have the meeting by myself and I'll update you after. But our consultation.
Update me? When we done the outcome, when we done the outcome, When we know the outcome, we know the outcome already.
Okay.
So I know the outcome.
We're gonna have that discussion, and I'm gonna give you the update.
Okay, because you see that project. If you take on it mean that once you take on a project like Indian Castle, you got to do that till you're dead. To infinity, I have to, because nobody committed for these projects. That is the problem. When they still talking about this okay, let me go back to because there was a discussion on ZIZ about cannabis. I tuned in kind of late and ended up to hear the Attorney General along with Miss Knight and somebody else. I'm not sure if they get a new CEO already, because there was a new person there speaking. I'm not sure if it's that person, but almost sound like somebody who just been a part of the team or whatever it is. But I'm not sure. I stand to be corrected. I don't know who the third person was. But I end up really hearing the Attorney General speaking about those who have 5 acres. They have been encouraged by the department and the authority to plant some vegetables and fruit trees and stuff like that. I said they got to be listening us, your son. You understand? But at the same time, he ain't talking about keeping it niche and don't bring in nobody neither. But they mention the listener mention what part of what they want to talk about, but they don't realize. But I hear them mention about Jeffrey Hanley and the other part of it when it comes to the 5 trees or 6 trees or whatever, and the license and all these things. So that part is still not a part of the conversation. You see, they're just holding on upon the medical part of it. So you see the games that they're playing.
Hold on. You see exactly what you're saying here? This is exactly what I'm speaking about in terms of where I have a problem with our people in terms of accountability and holding these people accountable. Because as you are rightly saying, they would have divided cannabis into 3 sections, and they put 2 sections under Ministry of Ecclesiastic Affairs, and they put 1 section under agriculture. The section that they put under agriculture is the section that Sankofa didn't go to courts for. Sankofa didn't go to courts to argue nothing about medical cannabis. They have sought to focus on the medical cannabis. Nobody tell them to focus on the medical cannabis. They have, out of their own, I can't call it wisdom, their own choice. And we know the choice because we are seeing it. It is being demonstrated that as far as they're concerned, they see that they could make some money from the taxes that they plan to implement and the licenses and all that. So that is their agenda. And showing you blatantly that the areas of concern that Sankofa went to courts for, those 2 areas that happen to be personal use and spiritual or recreational use, have been placed under the Ministry of Ecclesiastic Affairs, who happen to be under the charge or watch of the Honorable Jeffrey Hanley, who we have never heard at any point have said anything about cannabis. We have never heard. And so holding these people accountable in the same way for me in relation to cannabis and Nevis, the Nevisians are not holding Mr. Eric Evelyn and the government and Nevis on a whole, because apart from Eric Evelyn, we still have the question to answer in relation to who in Nevis in division should go to in terms of getting this license that is controlled by the Honorable Jeffrey Hanley, because there is no ecclesiastic
But if you
ministry or
can't go,
ministry
but if you can't
is
go
in
to
Nevis.
Jeffrey office and get any information, you don't come to Nevis where you get information. If your own
So,
minister sit in Nevis of agriculture,
well,
is
Banky,
not even
why are
speaking
we not
a breath. Huh?
why are we not hearing our people argue for a moratorium on the arrest and so on for cannabis in the meantime, since you ain't got your legislation in place? Because you said we could have 56 grams. You said we could have 5 trees. But if I go to the office of the Ecclesiastic Affairs tomorrow to collect that license, there's none available.
Nothing in place.
So how could you still want to be coming and pulling up people trees when you ain't got your legislation in place? So the authority, I am appealing to the Cannabis Authority to do the right thing and speak to your um, upholders of the law, whether it's the military or the police force or whoever, and tell them, hey, just like how y'all are cool up on the Hammond, ease up on the cannabis until we get this thing organized. Because at
So,
this
so they
point,
don't do these things. So they don't do these
but,
things.
but me and
But
them
you got
not,
people.
but they
So who are on?
need
So
to
but wait,
have
wait. But who are on the board? You have Ross Aya on the board. You have IRI. You have EK. You have all these people on the board. So they're not better. So all these brains on the board,
well,
how much?
okay.
15 of
Saying
them. Then no. So
okay,
they're not
yeah, hear
better.
me now. What me gonna say now? Me no, if they ain't no better, right? I
Uh-huh.
gonna use
50,
my opportunity.
15 of
I
them.
gonna use whether 15, 20, 24. Let me be the one then. The one who gonna put this up on the table so that others could hear it. That this is what I think need to happen. Because if
But
you ain't got
didn't Miss Knight get this
legislation in
question?
place,
Did you tell Miss Knight about this question when she was on the show? About this
yes,
moratorium?
but,
Of
but
course.
sometimes I remember I used to be a teacher, and repetition is important. So sometimes you got to repeat it. You got to repeat it for the youth to get it for it to stick. So I'm gonna repeat it again. We need to have a moratorium in the meantime, because if I should be able to carry 56 grams on me, but I need to have a license. But
But,
when I go to the place to get a license, I can't get a license.
but you had one for
Why
the music
do we still have that?
festival. You had one for music
No,
festival.
no,
What that
with music
was?
festival, what they allow you to come with 5. They made an announcement that you
But
could come
yeah,
with 5.
but that's the moratorium right
Yes,
there
no,
for the time
no,
being.
no, in
Music
a sense,
festival.
yes. Yes, okay, I see what you're saying,
That's
yes.
what you see.
So,
That it
so
is
this is
suit
what
them. That is suit them.
ah, ah,
You see, that's the whole
ah,
point. It suit them because it's all about entertaining those who coming in. The anybody locals, they want those who come in
well,
to be able to. That's what it's all about. It's pleasing those who coming in. Just when they come to
well,
the same case, they could have walk with. Yes,
you see when you say that exactly, then it shows exactly that the side that they have to deal with ain't really the side that have to deal with the local people, which is the medicinal side. The side
well, that's the
that
whole
they have to
point.
get
Yes,
out and left in the hands of the Honorable Hanley, Jeffrey Hanley, and he has demonstrated also that he ain't doing nothing, because he has not up to this point. Imagine 2, 3 years done gone with this thing done in place, and you government getting power nearly 3 years now, and you can't do
yes, son.
nothing up to this. You have one
Because
conversation
they're
on
not
recreational
serious.
use and spiritual
They're not
use,
serious. They're not
and
serious. I know people
and then
serious in a
you have
virgin.
to hold them. You have to hold them accountable, and people think that you're getting personal because you
Okay,
are being paid. How much on the banking? Which hold on, that has been placed under his portfolio. Many people understand these things. That is a part of your portfolio now. Meaning that whatever money you're getting paid every month, that fits into you being paid for that specific aspect. And you not doing anything and saying anything, meaning that we're paying you every month for something that you choose not to do, and something that is supposed to be beneficial to a sector of people who are being abused, criminalized, some lock up, some bang up, some get busted, all kind of thing for this thing. And now they get an opportunity to do something with it. You still have a gatekeeper who is from your own territory. And this is why sometimes I say, me hear all people agitating there. So me agitating, but me hear many of our people. And this is why I'm saying at the end of the day, it come down to how are we going to empower our people to realize that they do have the power, and these people who they are looking up to as their bosses in reality are their highest paid servants and should be listening to them. But part of it, Banky, they allow themselves to get caught up in this divide and rule game. And so instead of really addressing issues together as one people, they address issue based on which side of the fence they sit on, whether you PAMA, Labour, you, and that is how they make a decision. Then I say, well, why no, I hire them people here, and I don't care who in there. You are my highest paid servant. And if you ain't doing what is right, we have a people, as a people can come together and we can protest, and we got an option too. We could create a vote and no confidence. And that's the only other option you have. And so, you know, we have to be able to, Banky, you have a task on your hand, you know, to be able to get this, that what I'm trying to get across here to the masses, to get to them in its fullness in order to get the kind of
minor matters.
result.
No, minor matters. The people them know better.
I hear you.
They know better.
But the evidence ain't showing that it's minor matters. The evidence
minor
is showing
matters is choices. Okay?
Banky, hold on.
It's choices.
No, Banky. You see how we're gonna disagree. You know why you're gonna say that? Because watch here. If that was minor matters, watching a government break the constitution, and up to now, as you say, minor matters, but no government, neither federal nor other, have opted to say, well, wait, this is a constitutional thing, and this should be something, or could be something that we could take to courts and challenge
laughing
that.
after the people. They're laughing after the people. That's the whole point. And the people, you know, that's the whole point. So the people see this thing, just so me see it and you see it. Well, the others see it because all of we see them classmates, they see it.
That's what I'm saying. So you're telling me that something is wrong with the people then? Because if the people are seeing these,
that's the whole point.
But then, Banky, this is what I'm saying now, is these same people you are going to be looking to represent you. So how are you going to get them to change from that which is happening right now?
Well, if they don't want, either they want to stay in that and wobble up in the vomit, you understand, and lay down in the feces and keep complaining, I don't get to do that, and you can take control of your resources. Just like you saw the Hamilton Mill down there is given away by the government to some non-nationals who don't look like us to teach our history and make money off the backs of our ancestors, to drink coffee and wine and eat cheese and overlook our best views. Till when I see people are walking out, coming out island up saying that I would keep the island clean and act like they love the island better than I do. I take, they come to take. Our own people is the one who give it away. How can you give away a sugar mill? This is show the mind frame of our people, my virgin. A living museum with all the machineries. You could touch, feel. You want to know how the hell they get them inside there. Up to now, I can't even figure it out. You understand? How they get them from down with the closest part of the beach to up there in the mountain. Me can't, you see, they said them they were more than the house. And you give these things here to some people who come here. You understand? Virgin, that need to take back. I protest in the Hamilton sugar mill to the government. That whatever money being spent, give the people back the money, and the tourism department take control of that estate. That's a national treasure. That is show the mind from our people, yes, son. Do you hear anybody else talking about this but me and you? Do you hear anybody else talking about this but me and you? You hear there's opposition? What are they? Do you hear anybody in Sinky talking about these things? Nobody care. That is the problem. Working with my virgin. That is show the ultimate. Only two New River Sugar Mill going too. Because how can is Hamilton Estate where you can go and see the branding of the machineries in fine tune, and you want to give that to some people who come here who don't look like us, non-native, when the government is supposed to be taking over these national treasures, you don't give it away or lease it. No, them offense, you know. No. That property have to be taken, handed back over to the government, to the tourism department. That will need to happen. Those people who are, they just need to hand and say, watch here, we have been greedy, we have been wrong, we're not from here, and we have really taken advantage and pray on the people for taking them. It is wrong. And people who come and do these kind of things, they don't have love for the natives and them. They're working along with the corrupt politicians and them. That's what they're doing.
I am going to say this, right? I'm going to say this. It's kind of twofold, right?
Yes.
Now we as a people, to some extent, and no, before I make that statement, let me say it this way first. Let me do this part first. What I would love is for more of our people to be able to look at and value these things, as we are saying, as we are looking at it from the perspective that we are valuing it from, right? That's one.
Because who teach them when the
And
non-nationals
two,
teaching about their own history, they're gonna
oh,
learn.
hold on.
They're gonna
So
learn.
you see, so then you have that. So then what happens there then, Banky? If that is not taught, then you have the other scenario that I'm gonna get to, where you have the goal and you realize that you have goal, and somebody else, because you goal maybe cover in Bibush and you goal cover in Dot, but somebody else come and see that you got goal, and they're able now to give you something that maybe you ain't got and you want, and you feel like, well, okay, but you ain't realize that is
But
your
this not
goal
the
that they
case.
want.
This not
No,
the
no, hold
case. This not the
on. I
case.
just hold on. I just use an example now. Here's what I'm saying. That's that side of it. Then the other side, Banky, is no, where if we are seeing this, how I would have an issue is if we are supposed to now present projects to the government, similar projects, and are denied the opportunity, then I would be
There are people.
in
Yes, son. I had mentioned this thing before on the NRP to the peers of actual who was there before and this thing. There are people within the same community up in Hamilton asked to use that place and stuff like that. You see what I mean? Even if no national want it, the tourism department have a right and a need to maintain this place and put our gift shop or whatever it is. It is their responsibility. It's still ours. Even if no native want to do it. At
but
them,
Banky,
just do over anyway.
Banky, let us
What you
be
say?
let us be realistic, Banky. If
Uh-huh.
the government is unable to maintain even the vital buildings that are of necessity to them, like for example, libraries and health centers, because we find on Nevis a lot of them are invented places that the ones that are supposed to be in good condition via the government's maintenance programs are run down and not taken care of. Where they gonna get money to go say they're gonna renovate these things that you're talking about? So I'm not trying to say that these not things that they should do. I'm just trying to show you now the practicalities of these things. If they even
Yes,
if they're
son.
supposed,
Yes,
the
son.
evidence
Yes,
show
son.
that the
Yes, sir.
government
What
take
you
up
really
things
saying?
how
You
you
just
mean what I
spent
say?
20 million. You just spent $20 million. You just spent $20 million straight down the drain. So you build a hospital. Nothing could do. You got money to spend. That money you throw. Just chum down the drain. Wash it. I'm gonna just spend the next 20 million again. There are money. What you mean? What you talking about? What you saying? What you saying? What you just say? If you could just build something and you're up to no good, and you're gonna just left from there and build the next one, you got money. So they couldn't do that. That's the whole point. That they couldn't do that. Yeah, so money there. What are you talking about? Money there. You can see that.
You
Yes,
know,
and if you can
Banky,
just spend money and waste and mess up a hospital like a so, just waste the money and all these things. You understand? What you talking saying?
no, so that
Waste
what I'm saying
access.
is I am
Money
in
there.
total agreement. I'm in total agreement with you in the sense that ideally this is what should
I,
happen, and it's things
the
like that.
tourism I'm calling on the tourism department and then the NIA to reappeal the project at the Hamilton estate and give out the people them the money. And the people them should stand up and say we are wrong and we apologize to the citizens and the natives of the island for being greedy and want to come and take that what is rightfully theirs and to capitalize off
Banky,
of their ancestors. And that's how it
Banky,
is.
me in totally agree with you. Me in totally
You
agree
don't
with
have
you.
to, yes, sir.
Well, we know we don't have to, and as
no
usual.
no nationals supposed to in charge of none our historical place.
Hold on, wait, hold on.
None. Natives only.
Hold on, our disagreement ain't so much in that sector. And here's the disagreement part that me telling me you disagree. If you have something around you and you ain't know you got it on you and you ain't taking and you taking it for granted, and I come and I see.
No, we're not taking it for granted. Cannot know the place. The place
hold
is not knowing the place.
We're talking about the place.
Place is maintained.
Remember the place. Remember the place is in addition to a venture that was started. The venture that was started is a vanilla venture.
But they have not to do it with the estate.
To some
They
extent.
have to do the estate.
To some extent,
no, you have not to do the estate. That's greed.
But that is what they're seeking to do. They're seeking to add the estate into the aesthetics of the vanilla farm that they would have.
Well, we know that.
Well,
that's wickedness. That's wickedness. Wickedness, evilness, my virgin. That's evilness.
You had vanilla going wild up in your mountain, and you ain't know you had vanilla up there. Can remember they don't bring the vanilla here.
I still mine. But still mine.
Bring them money here and set it up, and I make some money.
I still mine.
You got it, and you don't know you won.
Yes, son. Leave me sugar mill alone, please. Okay, that will not debate pan. Leave me sugar mill alone, because you see when these things happen, you saw the universe working. Because when things start to happen, remember, no. I like you say, especially now, I'm gonna hurricane. When hurricane start come up and when I doing this kind of thing and raise up the ancestors them, and I start to get hurricane and start doing the house hurricane. When I deal with this kind of energy and vibrations, when they just start come amongst, and I don't know what start happening, and these kind of things brought these things upon you all, you know. You see what I mean? Because for the love of money, you're willing to sell the most monument historical part that is a monument of what your ancestors have been through. A living museum, you know. That's what these estates are, you know, with all the machineries, you know. It show that the belly of these people have no gut and no end. Because why would I want to go into a next man's place and want to take over him stuff? And our people gonna just give it up like that? When it's the responsibility of the government.
Okay.
This is why that's why you see. Yes.
Here's what I'm going to do, right? Because you see, this is why I like to take a different approach. Eh? So here's the approach that I'm going to take, right? Since we're on this one, I am going to put together a proposal for Ghana's estate. Because Ghana has one of the remaining sugar mills too. So
Ghana is fine. They have to do Ghana a proposal to take back the sugar mill. That's what I hear proposal about. I have no Ghana. Ghana can propose can go in same way too. But I want the proposal to take back the same sugar mill Hamilton estate too.
So here's what I'm saying.
And they put it to stop. Either stop the project.
Wait there. One day and see if they will fight me.
You not get it. You not get it.
Well, you see, I want to try. That's what I'm saying. You know, when I don't try,
put on a white skin. Put on a white skin. Put on. Get some spray paint and the cab will spray you up. Get some paint, the cab will spray you white or some other color.
I am gonna feel like I still have some hope in our people that we can see that we need to look beyond hope. That. When the guy with a briefcase come in and
the great white hope. That's why you do the great white hope, no.
Well,
the great white hope. I sure you hear me say all the time, you know. Don't trust people when you see them picking up paper and putting up some small sign talking about keep navies clean. Because where they come from, they don't do it. And then they smile. Smile. That's not a smile, virgin. We understand what smile are. We are genuine with it. They're up to no good. So everybody in the LA is not a fool. When you just come to take. It's just like and when you go and act and take things from people, the Republic of Taiwan, they want something from you too. Where we taking and asking when we have all resources?
Banky, you see, again, you know, it comes down to what I'm saying, you know, because these people ain't really taking, you know, is your leaders and so on not able to negotiate properly and so on, giving them who you elect, and you're not holding them accountable. So when they make these deals, you ain't know that they're making these deals. You only find out sometime after because you ain't holding them accountable. Even when you find out, you just talk about
So
it for
these
2 days.
so these not crime. So these not crime.
Well,
So these
if a
not crime.
man break the constitution and nobody even carry them to court, well, what?
Okay.
How are they gonna study with any other crime that you could be thinking about? Because one of the biggest
All right.
law in the land is the constitution, you know? And the constitution say you should have a taxable sharing arrangement between St. Kitts and Nevis, that is whatever. And a government, the highest authority in the land, decide to break the constitution. So when you talk about spiritual wickedness in high places and low places, when the Bible talk about that, these are some perfect examples. And
But how
nobody
long about the
challenge
constitution? So how long about the constitution? They were fight man who use herb when the same constitution been protecting us.
that too.
You see what I
That
mean?
too.
Since the beginning, it been engraved. They've been fighting.
But however, Sankofa had the guts to take them to court and stop that. But look how long
Yes.
that has been breached in Nevis. Look how long CCM have stopped that constitutional sharing arrangement. And nobody take them to court and nobody try to do nothing about it. So this is what I'm saying in terms of also people accountable.
So then they could change their mind and say, so then they could change their mind and say they want share again then. They could change their mind if they want then. Eh?
But because it's constitutional, it is there, ain't not to do. It's like this banky.
But that's the whole point.
May you start a business, right? We set up a business together. We decide that the sharing arrangement is going to be 70% to Banky and 30% to me. Right? Out of the business. And one day I just decide, well, me and sharing not with Banky. Wherever I make, and wherever Banky make. And that's it. Regardless of the constitution that me you share with and the contract that me you sign. So the contract's still in place, you know? But you just say you choose.
Of course.
You choose not to carry to court, and me choose not to carry to court, and we just let the thing continue like so. So that is what is going on in that regard. So I try to bring it to us as simple as a layman term, average person understand it. But that is what is going on. So it's just that because constitutionally, because it's the constitution, and the constitution is the highest law of the land. So technically, if the government,
so why would
the general want to do it, if the PM want to do it, if the DPP want to do it, I think all of them have the right to challenge this, but it is not challenged.
So why would the federal government, which is still in charge of navies for certain things, sit and agree? Because all them drinking up the same cup, the bamboozling the taxpayers. That's all it is, your son. The bamboozling the taxpayers, doing what they want, breaking all the rules, no count. That's all it is.
Hold on. If me and you got an agreement, right? And in the same,
the agreement is with the taxpayers, you know. The agreement is with the taxpayers, not these people, you know. It's the taxpayers the agreement with, you know, not them, not those the policy makers, you know. The agreement is amongst them, but the agreement is with us.
Just using the same example, right? That we use in terms of me you having the business and sharing 70-30, right? When I choose to break up that aspect of it, and I realize that you realize, that when I made that decision, that at the end of the day, you benefit the most. What are you gonna say? What you should say? Because technically, that is the scenario. At the end of that, I mean, it wasn't like no big loss for St. Kitts. Technically, they benefit more anyway from choosing to take that route. And the other side now, those who made that decision don't want to admit that.
Yes, son. We have a call coming in. Let's take this call.
Yes.
Caller, good evening.
Yeah, good evening, man. How are you guys doing?
We good. How are you?
Yeah, pretty good. I got a quick question for you guys tonight. The geothermal. Who is going to own geothermal? Who's going to have the patent to that natural resource up in the Nevis Peak Mountain?
I mean, Nevis
The federal
people.
government or the NIA?
Nevis people, no Nevis today. What do you mean? Are we supposed to?
Yeah,
Who own it?
that yeah, we're seeing the federal government encroaching, and the narrative is out there. There were some clips made by Patches about Brand and Naya. Some comments from both of them, and the Nevis people got to be clear on that. And I want your boy Yason to have an input on that, because politically we know Nevis has that clause 113 to go secession anytime, and I don't see that Nevis should have that clause in the Constitution, and a resource on Nevis will be owned by the federal government. In chance of any time the Nevis people decide that they want to pull away from Sinkits and that geothermal come to fruition, what is going to be the situation then? An example as the Panama Canal, Trump trying to take that Panama Canal back from the people of Panama. Similar situation, but maybe in reverse. Who should own geothermal in Nevis? Nevis people, as in the NIA, or the federal government, or the Sinkers? And I'll probably leave it there for now, man.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks.
Yes.
Banky, you see, when the ball ain't in your court, it's tough for you to bargain if you're in a position. Because you got to understand that a lot of these things come down to negotiation, power, bargaining power, and so on. And we can't overlook the geopolitics between Sinkits and Nevis, the little hiccups between
So
Sinkits and
Yason.
Nevis.
Okay, Yason. Why haven't there been a discussion to the general public transparently where for the moment they start having the geothermal linking up with the federal government? What you must come to an arrangement before when they start to talk, so they don't know what they're working with and how much this thing would cost. Just to drill the hole and all this thing, you cost 400 and something million, and then just to drill the hole and then to set up the this, how much miles you also bid again.
That is what I'm seeking. Banky, if you're in that position where you really don't know where you are and you just have to kind of be going with your hand out, then you find yourself in a position where you kind of have to deal with what you have to deal and to make yourself still, because remember the man still making you help you look good, because the man
Oh.
Banky.
Wow.
Okay, let's be real. That agreement that Dr. Ju continues to.
What will the agreement be? Will the agreement be?
Hold on. I'm gonna tell you now. The agreement to continue to pay the amounts that were agreed to in the Charleston Accord in relation to what is deemed as the share that is coming out of the city to Sinkits and Nevis. Remember, that was a shake hand deal, that is not a constitutional agreement or arrangement, So tomorrow, Dr. Juku say he not pay that,
Yes.
Pay that, So what I'm saying is, Nevis know that right now they're full of debt, and if the money they ain't coming over right now, Nevis is in quandary. The other point is, it is not a case now where the three ministers that are federal ministers.
But go back again. It's still Nevis is still not in quandary because they still not share the money. That's the whole point. If you were sharing the money and getting an equal share to get, if you're doing the right thing, then you'll get your money every month or every quarter, whatever it is. You see what I mean? You're still not the body being transparent, both parties not being transparent, both of them lying to the people. That is my point. If you have something is owed to you, well, give me one mine and let me be responsible with my money. But it's like you don't want the old money.
You see why I went all the way back to explain that premise, because here is it. Now, I hear what you are saying, but listen, see who you're dealing with. You are dealing with the people who is willing to even disrespect the Constitution. Because remember, when you're talking about sharing, remember the same government that is arguing about a fair share of the CBI is the same
Yes, and
government that is saying,
all these things gonna change. All these things gonna change. We're gonna have to change all these things. All these
so,
things gonna change, Virgin.
from my vantage point, Banky, let's say I am the
Yes.
Prime Minister. From my vantage point, here is it that constitutionally, this is how we should have been sharing the taxes. You get up one day and choose not to do it anymore. Constitutionally, this is how maybe that should be
But
the
who is the
agreement.
Prime Minister? But who is the Prime Minister? The Prime Minister ain't overseen the Premier Navies at a certain level. So the Prime Minister have a responsibility to say, "Boy, this is wrong, and this is not. This is what it is." And stop put on your foot.
So hold
That's the
on.
whole point.
Hold on. I think no. I think you're getting to where I am going, and I think this was and is one of the reasons. I have to say think because I've not seen the document from the Prime Minister, but I think this is one of the reasons why it took so long for the Prime Minister to address the fair share issue, because the reality is he couldn't just address the fair share issue without going back to address the the constitutionally taxed issue,
Yes.
and even the VAT issue. So I want to think that it is a holistic approach that was taken in relation to all of these, including now what is going to be the agreement for the CBI aspect of it. And so that is the challenge that I have seen, because I'm saying if you could, cause here this the right now, and that's why I said they have to respect Dr. Joe in a sense, because Dr. Joe could do just like what they do constitutionally. Because remember now, in Dr. Joe case, no one this ain't constitutional, so if Dr. Joe ain't gonna be breaking no law if he decide right now to stop. Because remember I think under Douglas reign, we were not getting any at all. As a matter of fact, I think we got loans that we had to pay back. It was only under the team unity when they came up with this whatever agreement to give the government and Nevis a certain amount of money. I think he had asked for 45 million, and then I think he went up to us for 65. Six. I don't remember what the numbers is right now. The numbers are right now, but that is what. And so every month at this point, the NIA looks forward to getting that. Thank you. But in the same breath,
But ain't the money is due. But ain't the money is due.
Technically, yes, and maybe even more too. Because but hold on, Banky. What guarantees you? Okay, this is where the serious question lies, and I guess this is why I said I think the Prime Minister might have had to do it the way he did it, because even if they say with a fair agreement right now, here's even if they came with an agreement and say, okay, let's use the figures that were used in the case for the constitutional taxable agreements. What is to say that next week or next year the government could decide, well, we ain't agree with that neither, and just like they did with the constitutionally arranged agreements, just stop do it.
So question is, why think it have a local government just like a Nevis?
Right, so that would take a constitutional reform. However, I think what happened is back in the time when they did the constitution, I think it would have been I think it's Nevis and Anguilla arrangement. And
I just said that to say that we ain't gonna debate, but I want to go back on the poultry thing. Cause we really go on the poultry thing. Cause I really want to. the people was talking about the poultry where they're going to bring in a building and stuff like that. Fine. So where are the resources for those who want to get involved to be a part of the broiler industry that this thing is all about? Because me only listen to the conversation because I understand all the moving parts and what it takes to have a successful, you understand, broiler industry. It means you have to have farmers to grow in the birds, the baby from baby chicks to 7 to 8 weeks old before they're mature. So therefore, whatever supply office have been bringing in, which is feed, either bringing in a container and it only lasts for a month, and now you move towards an industry where each farmer might want to have, some might want to have 4,000 birds, 5,000 birds, 3,000 birds, and they only have 1 or 2 doing regular farming now, and the feed enough for a month. What do you going to happen when you come to the feed? It means you're going to need at least 5, 6 container of feed, triple up, because that's the most, and medication and all this thing that is needed. You see what I mean? And good sanitation, water have to be in all these areas, and they need land. And most people, if I mean, don't have to go and take personal loan if the government is not putting any money within any area. Just in case with the cannabis industry and all this thing and farming, there's no money that is allocated for farmers, fisher folks, those within the agricultural sector to get to develop their farms more. It's just personal loans farmers have to be taken all the time. So which land are earmarked for the poultry? Where's this poultry thing going? You know where you're going? Camino know where you're going. Anybody know where you're going? So which area the bill been specs to be on? Which area? Cause I ain't know. I don't have information on these things. If it's New River, if it's which place in New River, I don't have a clue. You see? So this is the part I'm worrying about. The feed, the funding part when it comes to, because you must build a building. So even if you don't have no farmers no building the building, you don't have the building started build when it comes to the poultry. Then you say, okay, this had started. So when is this poultry thing gonna get started? 3 years from now? Because if you wanna build a building to bring in birds, this thing gonna take months again. So how so but that is that this so this is gonna start 2030. This is what we're trying to get at.
When not being held accountable has become the norm, then you expect a lot of these things to continue, because the reality is, you see all of these questions that you're asking, how many
This is a normal question.
how many platforms you have to ask these questions? I see in recent times they're having some town hall meetings and so on, and people are finally getting opportunities to ask questions of the elected officials, and I must give kudos to those opportunities, and they're seeing the need to really face the public a bit more. I've heard that in a couple of the town halls that I've heard bits and pieces of. But Banky, it comes down to the accountability, holding our elected officials accountable.
Yeah, definitely.
We these questions, when you're bringing in a major project like that, you should have, just like how with the airport, where you're seeking to have consultations and so on, and showing the people, plans and projections and all of these things and so on. That should be done the same way with the poetry project, so that these questions and these things that you are asking and seeking and so on can be put out by the people, and the people can say, well, they had a part, or they were part of the discussions of all of what, at the end of the day, even if they might not have taken on all of the suggestions and inputs from the locals, at least you have been given the opportunity to say you were a part of whatever. And if they didn't do what you said, I asked them to do, and they do contrary and they fail, then well, you have the rights to say, well, we did tell you all not to do that, and this is what you all chose to do, and now we get in the way of you. But we have a scenario on the other hand, Banky, where you have a people who wish to continue to accept the norm as the norm, where they're not being held accountable. And even when you seek to hold them accountable. They claim ignore the noise, try to bring you down or try to make you feel like or claim that you may be supporting some opposition party or something like that to try to dismiss the things that you're bringing to the fore. And the sad part about it is that you have some gullible followers and empaths who seek to get so personal with this thing that they function like it's a gang. You know, where in the gang culture, no matter what the leader do is right. Even if you wrong, you right. This is how some of our folks function when it comes to the partisan politics and the governments, those present, government officials present, and even those in the past, because all of them fly on the same two birds and one wing, and all of them do the same thing. They prey on the ignorance of the masses. They prey on the fact that the people don't hold them accountable and so on, and the reverse psychology that they're able to play to make them feel like they are the bosses when in reality it's us, the masses are the true bosses, and it is our taxes that is paying them. And when they take our taxes and claim to do projects on our behalf without consulting with us, and they fail, like you pointed out with the hospital wing and so on, it is our taxes and our children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren who will be paying those bills. So it is also important for us, and that is what I'm saying, it is important for us to do what they're saying, ignore their noise, and hold them accountable. Even though they try to push that on us, we need to take it and reverse it and say, hey, you need to be quiet up there because we're paying you. And when you're taking it, or you need to come to us and let we decide which project is more important or should be a priority than for you when we want a certain piece of equipment in the hospital or we want a certain piece of equipment in education, for you to decide that you're going to take X amount of million and put it in culture. So, it is these kind of things that, the people are going to have to start to begin to recognize that they need to be more involved in what is going on, and also to manage their highest paid employees and treat them as such. They are not your bosses. They are not your bosses. They are your highest paid civil servants. I think you're on mute, Banky. You might on mute.
We can really be self-sustainable if we had a real minister of agriculture who had that interest and stuff like that, but we don't have it. So these things are not gonna happen because we don't gonna have any resource that is gonna pump into the agricultural sector where farmers, fisher folks, agro processors can have funding. All we're just gonna have is talk, and only those who are serious who are willing to invest gonna invest and gonna survive this thing, and that is just the reality. Because the minister who are there, he have failed, and once you don't fail for me, ain't no coming back, You ain't getting another chance. There's one chance you got as a professional, You ain't supposed to be failing, So if you're gonna be failing, and getting paid to fail, it mean that. Well, I was told that we promote mediocrity and failures. That's what the civil service tend to promote. Failures and mediocrity, and it's obviously because it's playing in front of your face. If everybody can see that the minister failed, you talk to all the farmers, they're grumbling. You see what I mean? Even the Indian Council project alone, just the failure of that, you don't need to have nothing else to be said. If you have any other ministry, you're supposed to hang up your heart and go along home, because that is the most important ministry. You have to deal with agriculture, food, because we thought that.
Banky, look, you get frozen for a bit here. Yeah, but without food, you ain't got nothing, So we basically have to seek to marry agriculture and tourism and, even renewable energy. All of these are things that I am seeking to put into some of the projects that I am as Banky, as I'm pointing out to Banky, I am seeking to put forward, and we definitely would have to put forward. And I am going to be the one who will present. If denied, then I would say, well, at least I tried. So I'm not going to critique. I'm not going to, prejudge or predestine anything. I am going to do what I know I should do. Present a proper business proposal, put together a proper business proposal, proper executive summary, proper pitch deck, and present it to the relevant authorities and seek to ensure that that all the I's are dotted and all the T's are crossed, and let the chips fall where they may. Then, if then, we're denied on questionable reasonings, then I have an argument. But until then, I will seek to be optimistic in that regards, and seek to push forward as much as possible the projects that I know would benefit our country. And in regards to some of those, whether it's banking is not just historical sites, for me, even some of these butty hotels and so on that we find closed down all over and so on, we need to take over some of those things as well too, and turn them into some economic tourist agro-centered projects and so on. So
you tell Joe you want $60 million and forgive the $60 million. Let her forgive everybody else. You tell him you want $60 million as a grant, US.
So I am going to ask. If he said no, then then at least I know no.
No, you can't take enough an answer, and they give people, and they give. No, you can't take enough an answer. You can't answer no.
Yeah, I'm hoping that it's not a no. That's what I'm going to try. I'm going to hope that it's not a no. But I'm just saying, that at least I'm going to make the effort, because we are seeing it, and we see it, and it is evidence. So instead of arguing and saying, okay, other people are doing it and get you, well, I'm going to try, and then let me hear what would be the rationales if it's not successful. Because as you say, they give other people $16 million and so on, and then it just wipe off and so on. So if you're supposed to give me and a local, a native, well, then you shouldn't feel no way even if you wipe off too. Not that I'm hoping that you wipe off, but I'm just saying, in that case, based on the scenario that you're presenting, it shouldn't be any issue.
Yeah, so
at least I'm going to try.
We got 5 more minutes, so we could start. We wrap up now, and then we can continue the discussion next week, Tuesday. You know what I mean? So, yeah. But, yeah, so I guess, definitely, I want to see the agricultural sector succeed. I want to see the farmers, I want to see less food coming into the country where the farmers, and the market farmers, the fisher folks, the agro-processors can really start exporting their food overseas, the value-added products. The farmers, really have got access to water. I don't think farmers should be paying for water. Farmers should not be paying for water. Water is the most important nutrients when it comes to the agricultural sector, mostly used and use a lot. So there are ways where we have to start to get water catchment, drill wells. Also, we need to have more storage by our water storage facilities where the government have all the storage tanks. You just can't have one storage tank. You do have get at least 10 more tanks around these areas, or 5 more to store water. Because the more water you are stored, what we have is a storage of water problem. And then we have been canned by this thing where all you have desalination plants and all this different stuff and so forth. Where all you need is water storage. You just need more storage. So these things really definitely, because when these tanks, we have one tank and full, all the excess water go back in the drain, whereas that could have goes into some other storage tank. When that full, you go to an next storage. So you see what I mean? So it shows that we really, really doing ourselves an injustice. But I want to thank those.
In terms of water, before you wrap up I think finding a way to capture some of the rainfall runoff would be a good suggestion as well in that regard.
Well, all that, you see what I mean? But we are not working on anything. That is the whole point. You see what I mean? There's no policies, there's no plan, there's nothing. There was a policy, not even have a policy into drilling well for farmers to access water around the island. So I mean, what is the plan for the agriculture sector for the next 15 years, 20 years, 30 years? You can't bring something that is on paper when you sit with the stakeholders and what are the plan for the schools? What are the long-term, the short-term term plan for the school garden and the long-term plan? These are stuff you're not even hearing about, and these are very important. How you encourage more young people and homeowners to get into a little backyard gardening where they can, you know what I mean, have a small green space and at the same time they're cooling the environment, because in these temperatures, all the place is very hot, but it's hot because you're not have any trees within your yard. Even if the places get warm and you go outside and you chill on your porch, you won't be hot. You won't even know the place is hot because your environment is being cool because of what you have planted. The trees create a greenhouse effect where it cut the temperature down way down. So you wouldn't even know it's 90 degrees or 95 degrees out there because of how your environment is. But that's what it is, yeah, son.
All right. Well, definitely it was a pleasure being with you on another edition of Everything Agriculture, and I think we were able to delve into a number of pertinent topics and demonstrate that um, you know we are, as usual, a very versatile um, set of hosts on the program, and I do look forward to engaging folks more on the topic of agriculture. As I close, I want to encourage folks to work along with us. Tafara is Plant Nursery. We are pushing a 10,000 fruit tree plant drive. Banky, we're seeking to want to plant at least 10,000 trees by the end of the year 2025. And that would be a part of our mission in relation to food sovereignty, because we're not just thinking of feeding people for a couple of months, but we are thinking of feeding grandchildren and great grandchildren. So one of the things that we're seeking to do as a part of the program is to tag the plants. So for those who donate, you could, if you want to be a part of the program, but let's say you live overseas and you just want to, donate, you could donate, and you donate $10 US, and we would tag a plant. We would put a plant and tag it. And wherever it goes, you may have like a barcode or something like that. Wherever the plant goes, you'll be able to follow it. So if for example, we take some, plants to St. Lucia or some to St. Vincent, it might be Nevis, and St. Kitts, and we might be able to have collaborations with other Caribbean territories, and make the plant drive in that territory. But wherever the plant goes, you will be able to follow it and track it. And so that is a project that we're going to launch on the 28th of July this year. So that's something that we really pushing to work with. As usual, folks would know that at this point, Afara's Plant Nursery collaborates with Shabba's Organics as a distribution point. So, if you're in a rush and you can't drive all the way up to Fountain and you need certain plants, you can arrange with Shabba's, Banky as always, and they would work things out and make sure that you get your plans. It's all a part of food security and food sovereignty. As usual, Banky, we don't just critique, we actually put ourselves out there in terms of actually seeking to be ambassadors for agriculture. As I always coin the phrase, unpaid or unemployed ambassador, agricultural ambassador for St. Kitts and Nevis. And Banky, I guess maybe I should manifest it, because you realize they have all kind of ambassadors for this and ambassadors for that, but I've never heard of an agricultural ambassador. Yeah, I've never heard of an ambassador of agriculture. So
because they're not taking agriculture serious. That's the whole point.
So I'm putting it out there. We need to have an agricultural ambassador, somebody that can represent us. Just like you say, when you see your face, you represent Nevis as an agricultural ambassador at this point. any event or whatever, Banky. Whatever promotion, Banky. Right? So, yeah. Right now, I'm the unofficial agricultural ambassador for St. Kitts and Nevis. I'm just waiting for them to make it official. In the meantime, people, guidance and detection, enough love. I want you to continue to support Real Entertainment Network. Go on over to the YouTube platform, like, subscribe, and share. Until we meet again next week, Tuesday, for another edition of the topics. Enough love, everybody. Guidance and detection, enough respect. Thank you for the opportunity.
Inviting you to tune in. It's all about everything agriculture with the man Banky and Company alongside Yason Tafari. It's your weekly educational show. And tune in. It's inspirational, educational, and